Hi, boys and girls. This week we are going to start comparing and contrasting two stories again, but this week it's not going to be nonfiction, it's going to be fiction. So our lesson essential question is, how does reading two versions of a story help you see how writers can tell the same story in different ways? How does reading two versions of a story help you see how writers can tell the same story in different ways? So boys and girls, you'll remember that a few weeks ago, we were comparing and contrasting two texts, but it was nonfiction text. And we started with these two posters about Earth and Earth Day, and one focused on planting trees and the other focused on taking care of the animals. And each of the texts we read then focused on nonfiction. But this week we are focusing on fiction, two stories on the same topic that are fiction. Okay, so you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You have characters, you have a plot. So nonfiction was facts. We compared two articles on water, if you remember. Let's see, what else? I think we compared two articles on bugs, I think, animals. And so this week it's going to be stories. Lesson 22. Reading two versions of a story will help you see how writers can tell the same story in different ways. When you compare stories, you find ways they are alike. When you contrast stories, you find ways they are different. Sometimes two stories have mostly the same plot, but they may have different characters or settings. These are called versions of a story. Different versions of the same story are often told in different countries. Look at the two pictures below. They are from two versions of the story, Little Red Riding Hood. How are they alike and different? So these two pictures have no words, they have captions. So you need to study the images and compare and contrast. Comparing is how they're alike, contrasting is how they're different. Raise your hand if you have a way that they are alike. Okay, I'm gonna start with Landon. How are they alike, Landon?
They're both stories. And
So they're both representing Little Red Riding Hood. Alex, how did you see that they are alike, the two pictures?
They're both stories. They both look like they want to eat something inside the bags, and
So both pictures have a girl holding what looks to be maybe food. This is a basket with a towel,
and both stories have the animals behind the trees.
Yep, it looks like a villain, like a bad guy behind a tree. Does it look like a wolf though, or does it look like a dog?
It's a kangaroo.
It's a kangaroo, and this one
Looks
looks like a wolf. What were you saying, Landon?
dog looks like a kangaroo.
A kangaroo?
Yeah,
What else do you notice that's alike? The girl is walking, right?
Uh-huh.
She's walking outside.
There's grass everywhere.
There's some grass, there's some trees. This one, there's a house, like a village, but there is not a house in this one. So that's starting to contrast. What do you see as different? What would you contrast?
They're both kind of wearing a hood. That one's wearing a bandana and that one's wearing a hood.
So they're both wearing a head covering. Okay, this one says Little Red Riding Hood and this one says Pretty Salma. Pretty Salma.
Salma.
So another contrast is they have different names. Her name is Little Red Riding Hood, and her name is Pretty Salma. Can you think of anything else that makes them different? What kind of trees do these look like?
Palm trees.
They do, and this just looks like a regular tree, so different types.
Oh, and they both, I think they both have fur.
Who, the animals?
Yeah.
And the girl's wearing a skirt or a dress in both?
Yeah.
And they're both wearing short sleeve shirts?
Mhm.
All right.
And they're both wearing shoes.
Yeah, they both have shoes. Look at the two pictures again. What is the same and what is different? Fill in the Venn diagram below to compare and contrast the two stories. So here we have Little Red Riding Hood. Here we have Pretty Salma. And what did they both have in common? Okay, so what can we put that they both had in common, both pictures? Landon?
In the story of Little Red Riding Hood, the little girl was bringing food to her grandma. So I'm thinking about they're both bringing food to her grandma.
Well, we don't really know where this one's going, but we know that one was going to the grandma from the story. But have you read Pretty Salma? Have either of y'all read that one, that version?
Nope.
So they both have food, so we can say that, even though we don't know we do know for sure because we've read Little Red Riding Hood.
Those are cookies.
So let me get the text box. They are both carrying food. All right, what else did we say? They both have, what else did they have in common, Alex?
They both had skirts.
What else did they have in common, Landon? The pictures.
There's two bad guys trying to get the food from them.
Okay, there's a bad animal watching the girls.
Mhm.
Can you think of anything else they both have, Alex?
They both had head wearing.
All right, now let's contrast. How were they different? What did you notice that they were different? I wish I could make this text smaller, but I can't. It stays so big. Alex?
One had a wolf and one had a kangaroo.
That was a dog and it's a dog and a wolf. A dog.
We're not really sure right now, are we?
That was a
And this one had a wolf.
It says dog plus kangaroo.
Yeah.
Dog.
All right. What else made them different? Landon?
One had a regular.
Landon?
one was walking and the other one was chasing a butterfly.
Oh, I didn't notice that before. So one was walking and focused, and then one was chasing a butterfly. Little Red Riding Hood
Yep.
chasing a butterfly. Alex, what were you gonna say?
They both have different trees.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure what kind of tree that is. Maybe it's an oak tree, but the other one definitely looks like palm trees.
It's an oak tree.
Or it can be a maple syrup tree.
That's true. It could be a maple tree, yep.
I love
And
maple
the-
trees.
One time my dad found a maple tree. Oh, it was huge.
I never had maple syrup fresh.
Oh, you haven't? It's pretty good.
I have.
I've watched a video about someone drilling a hole in the tree and then they get that.
The maple syrup out of it.
Yeah, I really want to try that.
And so they have different names, and they must be in different countries, right? Because you can tell by the background, they're probably in different countries. We can make that prediction.
I'm in a team. This is our background. It's actually
Okay. Clear my drawings.